I'm Kevin Coleman with the Side Post, and I am with Bernie Moreno. And Bernie, please introduce yourself.
So I'm Bernie Moreno. I'm the Republican nominee for the U.S. Senate here in Ohio. I'm taking on career politician Sherrod, a guy who's been in elected office since Richard Nixon was president. This is a guy who's never had a job in the private sector, been there way too long, and has voted against everything that helps the working class in this state. I'm going to make sure we turn it around and we advocate for working class Americans to make certain that we can have a good life here in America.
So you won the Republican primary this spring, so it's still going to be an uphill struggle. I guess you're incumbent.
Yeah, absolutely going to be an uphill struggle because this is a guy who's the chairman of a very powerful committee in the Senate. He's going to use the power of that committee to bully people to contribute to his campaign. He's going to raise enormous sums of money, most of it not from Ohio, most of it from the worst of the worst. George Soros, big tech, Hollywood, Wall Street. He's going to get boatloads of money from out of state. They're going to pump it into Ohio to make this guy something he's not.
And that was part of your appearance here in Chillicothe, raise some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're here. Today wasn't a fundraiser. Today was the ability to meet community leaders here in Chillicothe. It's a great community at the heart of Ross County. We're going to be all over the state. I've sold all of my businesses so I can focus on campaigning and winning this Senate seat all day, every day.
But you have been a businessman. You know, you've dealt with real world, shall we say?
Yeah, I've been a business guy my whole life. This is not something I ever aspired to or imagined I would do. But we have to send people who are outsiders to Washington, D.C., people who've had practical business experience that understand how things actually work. That's in sharp, sharp contrast to my opponent, who's never even had a job in any capacity in the private sector, who's only been an elected career politician, who's lived on a taxpayer dime his entire life.
So explain how you are more of the common man.
Well, I ran businesses. The people who worked for me, that I worked with, that I had the honor of working with, were technicians, salespeople, people that he actually now mocks. He says I'm a used car salesman. Well, those are the people who worked for me and my company, that we worked together. These are people who know that when they go to work every day, they have to get to a result. Versus people like Sherrod Brown that get paid no matter what they do. This guy's done absolutely nothing while in Washington, D.C. other than get paid by the taxpayer with lavish pensions, lavish health care, lavish expense accounts. He gets paid to have drivers and assistants and schedulers, people who plan every element of his day for his entire life. It's time that he goes out in the private sector and learns how to make money like all of us have to.
So you're running for U.S. Senate, which means you represent the entire state. So you're certainly traveling around the state.
Yeah, we're all over the state. We've been campaigning for over a year. We've driven about 2,000 miles every single week to every single corner of Ohio. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to outwork him. This is a guy, Sherrod Brown, that's tired. He's a complete fraud. We're going to show that Ohio can do much better than giving Massachusetts a third senator, which is really what Sherrod Brown is.
When will you be in our area again, the Lower Sino Valley here?
We're going to be here quite a bit. We love this part of the state. It's really important that voters out here understand that I'm going to Washington, D.C. to work for you. I'm never going to be confused by that relationship, that I work for the voters of Ohio. Sherrod Brown, like all these career politicians, think that we work for them. We're going to get things done. We're going to secure our border. We're going to have energy dominance in this country. We're never going to ask another country for a drop of energy. We're going to unleash American energy. That means coal mines open. That means natural gas. That means oil exploration. That means nuclear. We're going to be an energy dominant country. We're going to have less government, dramatically less government spending, drive down inflation, unleash American entrepreneurship, which means get rid of these burdensome regulations and have peace and stability around the world. That's the agenda. That's what's on the ballot in November.
And that's the big decision date, November election.
November 5th, 6 months from tomorrow. I need everybody watching to register to vote. Get prepared to vote on or before November 5th. You have 30 days of voting. If you feel comfortable mailing in a request for an absentee ballot, do that. If you feel comfortable voting early, do that. Whatever it takes, make certain that you vote this November. The Democrats want to suppress Republican votes. They want us to stay home. Don't let them suppress your vote. Go out and register today. Get your friends to register, and on or before November 5th, make sure you vote. And if you could, I'd be honored to have your vote for the United States Senate.
And aside from being a businessman, I think you're also an immigrant?
I am. I'm a legal immigrant to this country. We have legal immigrants that are willing to assimilate, learn our culture, learn our language, add to our economy. We have to end and have a zero tolerance policy for any kind of illegal immigration in this country. And we're going to talk about that a lot in the campaign trail. Sherrod Brown's the opposite. Sherrod Brown has voted against every single border security act. Don't be fooled by his outrageously misleading commercials. This is a guy who's a far left lunatic. He's an open borders, Green New Deal leftist. And we're going to expose that. That's not what Ohio is. Please vote for Bernie Moreno for the United States Senate.
Although admittedly, he has worked with J.D. Vance, especially with East Palestine.
Well, when East Palestine was happening, Sherrod Brown was doing a fundraiser with his Hollywood buddies. He only came to East Palestine because he was shamed into it by J.D. Vance. J.D. wrote the Rail Safety Act. Of course, Sherrod Brown takes credit for everything that he perceives to be a positive thing. Sherrod Brown's voted with Biden 100% of the time. So how is a guy who votes with Biden 100% of the time advocating for anything in East Palestine? He's only there for the cameras and to take credit for things he doesn't do.
You're pretty critical of your opponent there.
Well, there's a lot more.
Well, how can people learn more about you and your campaign?
If you could go on our website, BernieMoreno, MORENO.com. Sign up as a volunteer. If you could contribute $5 or $10 or $15, it's very meaningful. We need everybody on board to help us win this race in November.
All right. Bernie Moreno running for U.S. Senate for Ohio. Thank you very much.
Thank you.